Hey, in this episode of Alpha of the Avatar, we're going to take a look at how to enable port forwarding for the Alpha client. Now, why do you want to do that? Portalarium has taken a peer-to-peer approach in how they're going to share the files required to play the game. They're doing this so that they can reduce cost and allow for maximum transfer speeds. And to accomplish that, they're looking to the community to help out. And you do that by sharing some of your upload bandwidth, if you will. So essentially, you're going to download the game from the peer-to-peer network, and in return, you are going to then enable the upload facility so that other users who are looking to download patches and such can grab some from your computer. So essentially you become a leecher at first. You're leeching off the torrent, and then you are going to become a seeder. And that's the setup. And to enable that, we need to do something called port forwarding, and that's what this video is about. We're going to show you how to enable port forwarding so you can become a seeder. Now, depending on how your network is set up, this process might be a little different, but this should give you a general idea of what to look for in setting up port forwarding. Now, for my particular network, all traffic goes through my router. So I am logging into my router, and I am going to look for the firewall. And I'm going to the firewall tab because the firewall blocks all traffic coming in from the outside world to my network. Under firewall, I'm going to go to virtual servers. And here's where I have port forwarding set up for various applications. What I'm going to want to do here is I am going to want to add a new virtual server, and I'm going to maybe call this SOTA. And the inbound port is going to be 55721. So that's the range that I want to allow. And I'm not quite sure if it's TCP or UDP, so I'm just going to say both. I'm going to allow traffic coming in on port 55721 to my IP address, and I want it to go to a specific computer, and that's going to be the computer that is running the client. And you can find that information out by going to start, command prompt, and typing ipconfig on Windows. All right. And here I can see that my this computer is on 192.168.1.7. So I'm going to put that information here. And the local port is going to be the same. I'm going to add the virtual server. And after the update, we can see that I have a virtual server now set up that's listening on port 55721, and it's going to direct any traffic it receives on this port to my private IP address. Now at this point, if you've said the proper incantation and waved a chicken over your computer, you should be good to go. So we should be able to launch the launcher. And you're not going to need the Shroud of the Avatar program running, so I'm going to close that. But for sharing, you're going to need to leave this launcher running. And as you can see, there's not a lot of information here. It's not really uploading anything at this point or downloading. And we're going to look at that in a minute. Let's take a look at the options. There are options here that you can set. Obviously, you're going to want to make sure that the help upload game data via peer-to-peer is selected. And you can limit the bandwidth. If you're limited to how much bandwidth you can upload, which we all are, then you might want to not sell the farm and put all your upload bandwidth into this, because that will impact other activity you might be doing on your computer. If you leave it at 0, it's going to go full tilt boogie and use all your upload bandwidth available as needed. Again, here's the peer-to-peer listen port. and you could save options if you make any changes, and then it says you have to relaunch this launcher again if you make a change. So anyway, I'm not making any changes, but as you can see, you're gonna have to leave this running, and you might want to minimize it or something like that. And over time, as other users come online and want to try to patch their program, if your launcher is running, you will be pulled into that pool, and they'll borrow some of your bandwidth and grab some files from your computer to share with others so that they get the necessary patches and stuff. Now, how do you know if it's working, or you're still, you didn't set up port forwarding correctly? One way to find that out is to do a little test. And so what we're going to do is you're going to go to whatismyip.com. And if you go to whatismyip.com, it's going to show your IP, so you know what your external IP is. Before I referred to your private IP, or actually that's really your internal network IP. That's the IP address within your network. I think mine was 192.168.1.7. That's the IP address that was assigned within my network by my router to the computer that I'm working on. But that's not how the rest of the world on the internet will be able to access or find my computer. And that is going to be done through my external IP, and that's what you're going to find here. So you're going to get that external IP because that's how the rest of the world interfaces with your computer. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to look for some sort of a port forwarding tester, and I'm going to link to this page below, as well as all the other links that I talk about in this video. And you're going to put your external IP address in the remote address box, and you're going to put that port number 55721, and then you're going to hit the check button. And if you hit the check button and it says that port 55721 is open, you are good to go. And that at least means that you've done everything in your power to make sure that your ports are properly forwarded. And now if it doesn't work for some reason or another, it's maybe a problem with the client, but you've done everything on your end. You're going to need to have the client running. And if you actually close the client, I'm going to close the client. Give it a second to close. Or 2. Or 3. There it goes. All right, so now the client's closed. And if I run the check again, you're going to see that it says the port is closed. So that's another, double confirmation that everything's right. So if you do your port forwarding and it's closed, your port is still closed, again, make sure that the launcher is running. And I'm going to launch it again so you can see that. Again, I don't need the client running. I'm going to close that. This is open now. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do another check, and you're going to see that the port is open. So essentially it means that this server can go through that port and it reaches something internal on your network that handshakes and says everything's good. Anyway, that's how you become a seeder, and that's how you can contribute and help upload files and share them with the rest of the community. And if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up. If you have questions or comments, leave them below, or even leave them in the forums. There's lots of people willing to help, and I'll see you next time.